Fellas. We are live. We are live.
All right, let me get my iPhone X out the camera before I get roasted by the viewers too. I don't need that. I don't need that type of negative energy in my life.
Hey,
I need that
yo.
type of negative energy.
King Gibbs, hi, in the building. Hi, King Gibbs, hi, in the
Hey,
building.
I hate that. I hate that for me. I hate that for me. But fellas, let me ask you this. Let's get into something that we all know about, but that like we just haven't really talked about on this show. Because we named the show after an Ice Spice lyric, you know what I mean? Or a song that Ice Spice was on, rather. And with that being said, can you name me a old school rapper that you feel like does not get the love that he or she or they deserve?
I'm gonna go Big L.
Okay.
Big L only
All
got
right.
one album. You know, and people that are like hip hop heads, of course, know who Big L is. But in terms of like the overarching hip hop landscape, Big L don't get enough credit that he deserved. He only had one album before he died, but at the same time, the whole like double rhyme scheme pattern was, I'm not going to say it was made by him, but it was perfected and popularized by him. So without Big L, you wouldn't have rappers like Hove, you wouldn't have rappers like M, you wouldn't have rappers like Cam. Like he influenced that whole like double rhyme scheme style.
Don't throw Cam in there. Don't
Look,
throw Cam in
bro,
there.
even though Cam is goofy and hilarious, he got like 3 very solid albums in a row.
That's fair. That's actually very fair. He does.
If you listen to Confessions of Fire, Come Home With Me, or Purple Haze, all of those are like top tier hip hop albums, yo.
But you know what I think is like unfair? Like, you know how a lot of people are like, oh, you can't judge historical figures by today's standards. I think that same thing kind of got to apply to rap to some degree. Like when people are like, oh, the Sugar Hill Gang was terrible. Listen to them and they're like, a hip. Like that's what the rap was in its
That was the
infancy.
landscape.
That was what it was. Like Curtis blowing the brakes is like, that was what it was. You just didn't see that too often.
Bring it up.
Hey, you didn't see rappers.
Can you imagine back in the day though? Like I hop in the whip, like, yo, Gibbs, you heard the new Sugar Hill Gang? And I pop in at the table, we all in the whip talk about that's the breaks.
But again, you know, understand this. Imagine that, but like the closest thing that you had to that was what, like Frankie Lyman or something like that.
Yeah, true.
Like,
that's facts.
Really, realistically,
facts.
what was the closest thing you had to actual rap? Like Jimi Hendrix in the 70s, maybe? Like what you didn't have nothing.
That's true.
That was like it. So I mean, you know, we're listening to this from the context of like we've heard rappers say like, you know, triple entendres and whatnot on the track, and we like, hey yo, that's crazy. But like, you know, it's like watching basketball in the 40s, how like all of the players now would get arrested for witchcraft. Well, of course, because like that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody was dribbling like this.
Exactly. Isaiah Thomas' handle was known as crazy because he could dribble with both hands. Like that's really wild to me.
That's kind of crazy.
Wild to me. Chris, who's an old school rapper or a rapper from the past that you don't think get enough love?
He get credit, but not enough for me, considering what he did for the game and all that. Cube, I mean Ice Cube, bro. Kids nowadays, you realize
that's a good one.
They never even heard of Ice Cube rap. They think Ice Cube just somebody that played in movies, like y'all realize, and do the big thing. Like Cube wrote everybody in NWA lyrics, and he did so much for the community. On top of that, when he found out he was getting did bow, he left the group, started his own label, and then put people on there, and then got back up with Dr. Dre and dropped something else, and then dropped all the movies after that in conjunction to all that. Cube
and his
changed
solo
the game.
album was kind of fire. His solo album
it was heat.
It was kind of
It
fire.
His first one, for sure.
It was heat. I gotta go with Ghostface, man. People do not show that man enough love, bro. People do not show that man enough love. He is known as like one of the players that's easy to beat in Def Jam Vendetta. Like that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all people know him as.
That man did not block at all.
No, not at all. But like that man, his rhyme schemes were impeccable. And fun fact, they like measured. So like somebody did like a measurement of how many different words that like different rappers had used throughout their career. And like Ghostface was like, first of all of Wu-Tang was in the top, I want to say like 15 or 20. But like Ghostface was like number 2 or 3. Like that's how expansive his vocabulary was on the track, which is like, you know, my mom always used to be like, oh, like you stop listening to rap, it's gonna rot your brain. And I'm like, well, Ghostface is actually expanding my brain.
Really quick, I got something about that. Like, I feel like that's rooted in the fact that like 99% of rappers are usually black. When it comes to like how diverse a genre can be, how thought-provoking a genre could be, the flexibility of that genre, rap is number one by a landslide.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you cannot tell me like, oh, rap is gonna rot your brain, and then you listen to like the most dense like rock song ever with no
She
depth
thinks
in
my
lyrics.
tracks are sexy.
Yeah.
Bro, get out of here.
Like, it's
Get
no way you
out
can
of
tell
here.
me like, oh, rap is gonna rot your brain. Do you listen to Welcome to the Jungle? Like, come on, bro.
You know that what's the one that they always play in the in like every war movie, every like it start off real slow. Something real easy, my friends. You know
Oh yeah. Man.
That song
I
is
know
not,
what you talk. They play it at every movie that's like about the Vietnam War for some reason.
Every time you see like
Yeah.
you see the trees, you see the heat waves coming up the sun.
It's the big like army green helicopter that's touching
the
down.
chopper coming in every time. Right when that song plays, you know the chopper is about to touch down. But yeah, no, I agree, bro. I agree. Like rap truly is an expensive genre, and whenever people are like that, the take that's most funny to me is like, get you a man who treats you like a country song and not a rap song. Because like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Drink a little whiskey, beat on you a little bit, you know.
You know what?
Whoa.
And listen,
That's a country song. What you mean?
Listen, hold on. If you really think about it, with how people say the old generation says, oh, all these songs are so lewd and so graphic and they're all about cheating and something else. Think about it this way. For every rule, there is an exception. The Big Sean song, Play No Games, sample what song? Piece of My Love by Guy, right?
Yeah.
The song Piece of My Love, what do you think that song was about? Piece of My Love. What do you think it was about? He was cheating in that song.
You get a piece of that thing.
He was cheating. That man said, you can have part of me, but it's just some things that I cannot explain. Ma'am, you the side piece. That's what he said. Like, that's the reality. Hey, much like John Morant when he said he was good in the West, that man was not being truthful. He was not being truthful. But folks, enough about the rap music, enough about the rock music, enough about the R&B. We got some playoff basketball to get into.
Yep.
We got 2 top seeds down 3-1. We got the Warriors surging back. And man, we got the NFL draft coming too. We got lots of things. Oh, and Aaron Rodgers is officially headed to the Big Apple. Go Jets, go. Y'all ready to get into these sports?
Ready for it.
Sir.
You see Chris got on this Jets green shirt too. He
said Jets, Jets.
Head ass. That's crazy. But anywho, alrighty, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the facts over at Axe Crew. We got the master, the mix and master, Josh Guyton in the building.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man playing Chris Allen in the building.
Present.
And then you got the little old MC, that's me, Kenton Gibbs. You know that Chris was that kid that would say president school too.
Man, they used to get on my nerves, though.
Everybody smacked their lips for no reason. Now, fellas, you got playoff Jimmy, also known as Michael Jeffrey Jordan Jr., and you got Giannis on the other side, but man, it's looking bad for the Bucks. They're down 3-1. And then you got the Grizzlies that are good in the West. They poke bears. It's a parade inside their city, but somehow that old man and a white boy with the nickname of AR-15 is shooting the lights out. Now, fellas, please tell me which series is more surprising to you so far.
I would say the Lakers series, right? So all year, right? All year long, we have been talking about how trash the Lakers were. And then they made a move at the deadline, but everybody like, Rob Pelinka, this is a good move, but it might be too late. You know, Anthony Davis gonna get hurt. But this series is surprisingly because you would think the Lakers being up 3-1, LeBron and AD are having the series out of their mind right now. You would think that they are the new Kobe and Shaq for the Lakers, right? But no, that's not the case at all. The Lakers
one of them is putting up Kobe and Shaq type numbers.
Well, yeah, one of them is. But what I'm saying is, you would think if I told you, Giz, at the beginning of the season, the Lakers would be up 3-1 to the Grizzlies, what was the first thing you would say?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
I'm saying you would be like,
oh, if you were to say which players would be going off, I would for sure say Bron and AD, 100%.
Exactly. But no, you got Rui Hachimura leading you in scoring first game. You know, AR-15, he liked that. I'm sorry to say it, but he liked that right now. I mean, he might not. I don't know longevity wise, he's not worth $90 million to me, but he liked that. I mean, and then D'Angelo Russell, to his credit, he came up big last night. You know, without D'Angelo, they don't win that game.
Yeah, those back threes before he fouled out was huge, boy. Back to back threes.
That shifted momentum too.
I don't think this is surprising, but if we go into the Miami Heat and Bucks series, right? The crazy thing is, I was watching that game and I tweeted this. I'm like, Giannis is clearly the best player on the court, but Jimmy is just looking better right now. Jimmy just wanted more. Jimmy just, like Giannis, pound for pound talent, he looked like he was just like a man amongst boys. Jimmy just looked like he was desperate for that W. And the crazy thing is, Gibbs, and I know Giannis your boy, I'm going to pick on you a little bit though. Giannis, right? If that was any superstar, Kobe, Bron, Jordan, even Kawhi, right? Everybody would be bashing Giannis because they would be like, why didn't you take that defensive assignment? When LeBron was going against the Bulls and D Rose was getting off, LeBron said in the huddle, I got him. He took ownership and he went to go guard that man. Why we don't hold Giannis to this standard? He was the defensive player of the year previously. He was a league MVP previously. But it's okay when Giannis loses for some reason. And yes, he missed 3 games this series. I get it. But at the end of the day, if that man's going off for 50, I like the way guys say it better. 50. If he's going off for 50, you gotta do something, Giannis. Come on, man. You're universally known as the best player in the NBA. You are supposed to step up right there.
Can I say something real quick? I don't know who this y'all is that don't hold Giannis accountable, but that's not me. Remember when we were talking about the Bucks and Nets series and KD was going off, what did I say? Giannis needs to be checking him. He needs to follow him everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He needs to. If he go to the bathroom, you better be prepared to shake that thing for him. You better be right there with him every step of the way. And yet he still hasn't. I don't know what it. But Chris, you might have been right in saying that Coach Bud winning the championship over there. It might have hurt him. Because it for the future purposes, because people are gonna think like what he did is okay, and it's not. It's not. Like if you got a player over there that's going off and he plays a position close to what your all-time defensive player, multiple-time defensive player of the year is playing, he needs to take that matchup. Period.
I mean, I think that's the case. I think that's the case with most modern players, though. Like, what player that's under the age of 30? I just feel like that's the narrative for, like, basketball fans change by generation. What, like, current player that would be considered a top star right now is held to that same standard that we held stars to, like Bron picking up D Rose, Kobe picking up Melo.
I mean, but it's not that many stars that are stars on the defensive end as well. Like, how many of the stars in today's game do you think about and you're like, oh, that's a two-way player right there?
That's true. That's true. Under the age of 30, you got Giannis. He's not I wouldn't put him like as a superstar, but I would put Jaylen Brown in that category. That's honestly about it.
You could put Tatum there. I think you could put Tatum there.
I think Tatum is there because of length, but Tatum is not like a lockdown. He's not a lockdown.
Can I say something? Y'all might get mad at me.
What up?
Tyrese Halliburton is kind of in that same category.
Oh, yeah.
No, I wouldn't disagree with you at all. No.
All right. I thought y'all was finna get real casual.
No.
Tyrese Halliburton is in that. He's in that category.
Tyrese my guy.
Like, he's a baller that got to.
To be honest, De'Aaron Fox in there too a little bit. De'Aaron Fox can sit down on D. I ain't gonna lie, D.
But he's too small to play anything beyond the two. Him
and Halliburton about the same size though.
No way. What?
Yeah, Halliburton about
that's
6'5",
surprising.
6'6", and De'Aaron about 6'4", 6'5". Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they ain't that high. Yeah, I think
De'Aaron?
De'Aaron like 6'4" and Tyrese like 6'6", I think.
Yeah,
I thought
De'Aaron
De'Aaron was like
De'Aaron.
6'3". I don't know why I thought De'Aaron was like 6'3". That's crazy.
Nah.
But I feel you. I got you. But anyway, I'm gonna say this, man. To me, the Heat Bucks is much more surprising than the Lakers to me, because I told y'all coming into the playoffs, if I was the Grizzlies, I would do everything I can to get out of that 2 seed. I would be running from that 2 seed like my life depended on it.
Ja tried to.
Because I know exactly what was coming, because just the way that even before Dylan Brooks did all his talking, I just know how that team is. Remember what we were saying? Was this Memphis team one of the most annoying teams we've ever seen that ain't won nothing yet? I knew they was going to start chirping at Bron. They were going to start chirping at AD. And then next thing you know, one of, if not both of them, were going to go legend. This Bucks series, however, none of this makes sense. Imagine a world where I tell you Giannis is going to get a triple-double, Brook Lopez is going to score 36. And you lose the game?
Yeah.
What? How? How does this even happen? But it's the magic of playoff Jimmy. Boy.
Hey, serious question though. Serious question. It was a thing on Twitter. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Brook Lopez or Al Horford, who would y'all take?
Brook Lopez.
But why though? Like for me, my body telling me Brook Lopez, but my brain saying Al Horford.
If we were playing early 2000s basketball where the big man was going to need a deep bag of post moves, all that, or if you were talking about young Brook Lopez and we're talking...
No, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now.
No, that's what I'm saying. If we're talking either one of those two, and we're talking the early 2000s, like grit and grind, everybody had a player who would do isolation and nobody really came to that type of deal, like, go ahead and give me the better player in the post. But in today's game, a big that can stretch the floor and protect the rim. He can stretch the floor better than Horford, and he can protect the rim better than Horford. That's pretty much...
Horford can stretch the floor, but see, the thing I think Horford don't get enough credit for, his ability to play make and bring the ball up the court. Brook Lopez not doing that, and I feel like that's the difference to me. And also the leadership that Al Horford brings to his team versus the leadership that Brook Lopez brings to his team. Brook is definitely a leader, but he's not like an Al Horford. Al Horford is the type of guy, if it's a conflict in the locker room, he gon' be the problem solver for the conflict. Brook Lopez is the type of guy like, y'all need to chill out. I'm not in it though. You know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like in most not in a modern NBA, but I feel like those are holes in your team that you can feel. You know what I mean? I feel like if you had a list of things that you want somebody to bring to a team, Brook Lopez would check more of those boxes than Al Horford. You can get you a playmaker, you can get you a locker room leader, but you're not gonna get somebody that's shooting 40% from three and averaging 2.5, 3 blocks a game.
But Al Horford don't shoot bad from three though. You know what I mean? So you getting all that, and he shoots good from three.
Listen, I'm not saying. At the end of the day, when I look at these two players, and I'm saying to myself, all right, which player would I rather have right now at this very moment? I'm going to ask myself, which of these players do I look at and say, he's going to get done more of what helps my team again at this very moment, or for most general or generic put together teams, right? A big that can protect the rim at a high level, whether we realize it or not, all the best rim protecting bigs, how many of them are not in the playoffs? How many rim protected bigs are like nowhere near the playoffs? And I mean good ones, not like low level.
I would say only the one is Pacers for me off top.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking Miles Turner. That's the only one I could think of.
Okay. But do you get what I'm saying there? There's a very direct correlation between a big that can truly, when he's in the paint, everybody has to think twice about it. If you watch the Grizzlies and Lakers game, those shots that the Lakers were hitting down the stretch were truly like, that's the greatest player of all time. Second greatest, third, fourth, fifth worst, at absolute worst player of all time right there. Like that's not a
you not a top five. You just 50 years old and hating, bro.
Yeah.
Like
right.
honestly, but just based on, you know what? Can I make a special announcement here on the Facts Over X podcast, man?
Go ahead.
What's going on? Make your special announcement.
Okay, so when it comes to the GOAT conversation, one, I don't like to have that conversation anymore just because it's like it's brainless to have. I like to put, when I talk about stuff, I like to put it into tiers. Like I usually try to go like tier 1 through 4. But if you want to have a GOAT conversation, if you want to put somebody at 1, I always take it into 2 things on account: skill level and then your accomplishments. I try to separate those 2 categories. If we're talking about skill level, there is a conversation to be had, right? But if we're talking about just like looking at the career on paper, LeBron is undisputedly the GOAT. If you're just looking at it like on paper.
Wow.
If I said 2 pieces of paper in front of you with accolades and just career averages by year, you can't argue it.
This is crazy.
If I could pay $1 for every time I wanted Guyton to just say that, I just
let me tell you something. Chris got
right
into crazy. He got into crazy 8-leg parlay that if it hits, it's gonna turn 60 into 1,000. And I think that those odds was a lot shorter than Guyton making this statement today. I think those odds were much shorter. My Lord, this is crazy. But no, but I agree. And like I said, at the end of the day, the presence of a Jaren Jackson Jr. makes everything different. It makes everything different offensively. The presence of a Jared Allen, it makes it tough in the paint. Even though them boys, his guards right now, they the young
Cavs
money brick
always
squad.
selling. Cavs always selling.
Let me tell you something now.
Always
Let me tell you something.
When you see that ticket, Gibbs, who I pick? The Knicks.
The Knicks.
Exactly, because the Cavs always selling.
We finna hear a lot of bing bong F your life after the night. It's gonna be going off all throughout New York City. But to me, an elite rim changer changes things more than a big that can handle the ball, because there are multiple bigs with a decent ability to handle or a decent ability to not necessarily be the initiator of your offense, but you can trust them to make a smart pass that, like, it don't really make no difference for real. Like, nobody's looking at Mason Plumlee like, ooh, he can pass. Like, that's crazy. But, like, if you can rim protect, even if you're super mid, people are still going to look at you like, hey, coming in some paint.
I argue the best 3 teams in the league right now don't really got a big that can rim protect. You think about the Suns, they don't. Ayton's not a rim protected big. He's just there. Just a big.
Right.
Jokic, number 1 seed in the West, he not a rim protected. I don't fear nothing with Jokic.
But that's 2 teams though. The vast
I can still go. I can still go. Embiid, yes, he's there. Embiid, yes, he's there.
I was about to say, don't tell me Embiid.
No, Embiid, the elite rim protector.
Yeah. I was gonna say Embiid, yes, he's there. But the team that is projected to beat Embiid is what I'm saying. The Celtics. Robert Williams is he there, but he not. He's 6'9". He not like no.
But okay, now let me ask you this: of the teams that you just named, how many of them have a big that initiates the offense, brings the ball up court, and is like that's what's important to them? You see what I'm saying?
Jokic, the Sixers, Embiid bring the ball up.
Embiid brings the ball up on rare occasions. That is not no regular all right, this the guy I want bringing the ball up.
I agree. But when he's feeling it, he does take control, bring the ball up. Also, He's not a center per se, but Giannis is a great rim protecting big, but he brings the ball up a lot.
I was just about to say, I know you just didn't say that the 3-time defensive player of the year wasn't a great rim protector.
No. I'm saying he's a great, but what I'm saying is, if you have that, like Al Horford is a great defender and he shoots better from the 3 than Brook Lopez, the leadership aspect, and you get playmaking on top of that.
He shot the 3. He shot the 3 ball better for a longer time. I don't think that when you get them rolling at their highest clip, you're like, Brook is probably not as good as Al is in terms of 3-point shooting when they're at their best in terms of that one ability. Now again, all time, yes, because remember when Brook came into the league, that boy could not shoot beyond that mid range. He was like a drop step machine. And, like, he would never step out deep. And now he lives out there, basically. That's, like, a huge part of his offensive game. So, But I get what you're going. I think it's a good argument either way. I think that's a good conversation to have. Like, it's all about what you like. But I personally, just for my sake, 3 and D as opposed to, like, the guy who is more well-rounded and can do more things in today's game. if I'm looking at a center.
Because neither one of them is specialist instead of a utility knife. I got you.
Exactly. And neither one of them is going to be your number 1 or 2 or really even third option. So if you're going to be 4th or lower, just give me 3 and D. That's all I need from 4th and lower. Just give me 3 and D, and we'll work everything out between 1, 2, and 3. But like, you know, I could see the argument there. Josh, which one of these series is most surprising to you? Heat and the Bucks, or the Grizzlies and the Lakers?
Heat Bucks without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, going into the playoffs, I'm pretty sure majority of the population, us 3 on this show, all said that if the Lakers were healthy, then the Grizzlies were in for a fight. And I believe all of us had Lakers in 6 when we did our predictions to start the playoffs. Yeah. But most of us had Bucks winning in 5, most 6 games. I mean, granted, Giannis wasn't healthy for 2 games, and I keep trying to tell y'all, yes, they have good individual pieces, but that Bucks team is mid without Giannis. That team is very mid without Giannis.
They're a solid team without Giannis, bro.
Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say is this: Drew Holiday is playing some of the worst ball I've seen him play in years.
Look,
I'm like, what happened? Where did your skills go, brother? What's going on?
All I'm saying is, all 3 of us play video games, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you were playing 2K and you were like, "Hey Gibbs, let's run some 2K," and I asked you, and you was going to pick your team, and the Bucks was a team, but Giannis didn't exist. Out of 100 times, how many times you picking the Bucks?
I mean, obviously, I would not pick the Bucks.
You're not loading up the hoop with Chris Middleton, bro. That team
That's fair.
that team is just not built for success without Giannis. But I'm just surprised by that series because I thought that Giannis coming back. One, I thought the Bucks would fight harder without Giannis, which they didn't. And I thought Giannis coming back would put everything straight ahead. They're down 2-1, but that's a team that has championship experience. They can win a few games in a row once Giannis is back. I was not expecting Jimmy Butler to drop 50-something. We know how the playoff works. I think that momentum is about to carry into Game 5. And I don't know if the Bucks escape even in Milwaukee.
You want to know the nastiest part about this whole deal to me? I'm looking at that series and I'm like, man, at the end of the day, the Bucks should be okay because, I mean, Jimmy is not getting much. He's getting precious little from the rest of that team. But then you look up and down that roster and you're just like, the most random players are going off. What is Caleb Martin doing giving you 12? What is Caleb Martin doing?
Caleb Martin, low-key, is the unsung hero of that game, bro.
Here's the thing. Fun fact that y'all may not know. Both of the Martin twins started off their career at NC State. I lived across the hall from them boys. I'm telling you, I would not have expected this. I never at any point in time would have expected, like, yeah, he's going to be one of the most important reserves in a very important series at some point in time. Like, what? No disrespect to the Martin twins. You know what I mean? Peace and much love to y'all. But what? This is crazy. This is insanity.
That boy saved the game for Miami. I know Jimmy had 56, but without those, he hit 3 threes in a row in the fourth?
2 of them. He hit 2 of them back to back. Yeah.
And the boys would not have survived without that man.
And it's I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Drew Holiday like, bro, 2 of 11 from deep. Anytime. And I say this about Dylan Brooks too. Anytime a team's game plan is, let them shoot. You need to square up with their head coach after the game. I don't care how well. I don't care if you go 8 for 8 from deep or if you go 0 for 21. You need to see their head coach after the game because he really trying you.
Yeah, and that's just wild to me. Like, I think I picked the Lakers as most surprising because the way they winning to me is just like.
Yeah,
Darwin Ham has Rui Hachimura playing center when they have a problem with rebounding, and they also have a problem with stopping them from getting to the paint. And Rui Hachimura is out there playing center. It's like, how are the Lakers winning this series? They are trying to lose to me, and I'm just shocked that they winning.
Hey, I didn't want to claim him until like he did something good, but now we can say Pistons legend Darvin Ham to be exact. All right, make sure you throw that on there. Yeah, I mean NBA. Wait, he was on that championship team, wasn't he?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes.
Yeah, Pistons legend Darvin Ham. You know what I mean? Put some respect on that man's name. Put some respect on it. But now we got to move on to tonight's series, fellas. Let me ask you this. Well, actually, first, do you think either one of these teams that are down 3-1 got that Bron in them. Do you think
Nope.
one of them is coming back?
Nope.
Chris?
I think the Bucks could make it game 7, but I don't know, bro. I think Jimmy got one more game in him like this, and it'd be game 7 when his life is on the line, because he do it. We see Jimmy do this time and time again against the Lakers in the finals. He put the team on his back. 40-point triple-dub in the finals. Against the Celtics, his shot went in and out, and last year they would have been in the finals against the Warriors. Yesterday, they needed this win badly because they got to go back to Milwaukee. If they split there, then Milwaukee has home court again. Jimmy put the team on his back and said, come on, Bam, you don't want to hoop? I'll hoop. Like Bam has been historically bad in this series. Like, historically bad.
Yeah, he's had some rough games. He's had some real rough games here. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so moving forward, let's look at the games tonight, okay? On tonight's docket, now I'm not going to say who, but somebody said we got a night off from basketball tonight. We got the Celtics, Hawks. We got the Nuggets, Timberwolves, and we got the Clippers, Suns. Now, all three of the teams, all three of these series are 3-1. Celtics up 3-1, Denver up 3-1, Suns up 3-1. Do any of these series extend beyond tonight?
No. Not at all. You looking at a series with a Clippers team that's very unhealthy. Westbrook, shout out to Westbrook. Westbrook been hooping, but when your two best pieces not playing, you can't win a series. I know Gibbs about to snap, but he gonna let us finish our takes first.
Hey, I ain't say nothing. Go ahead, bro.
Minnesota, Denver, we already know what the deal is with Minnesota, Denver. I mean, Minnesota was able to get a game playing some great basketball in OT, but Denver about to get that over with tonight. And then we got Atlanta, Boston. It just came on right now. Atlanta's just, the Boston is a favorite to win the East. Atlanta is just not well equipped enough to win that series. It's one of those cases where we see in a lot of basketball series, like a team usually gets a game. I think we've seen 3 cases of that in with these games that's coming on tonight.
I'll tell you what, if Trae Young pulls off a comeback in this series, to me, he's elevated into that top 5 point guards in the game today conversation. You gotta put him in there. There is no way you can leave him out if he shows up that big, because he would need 3 Herculean efforts in order to get him back in the series. I don't think he's got it in him, but Chris, talk to me. Do any of these series go on?
Them Hawks, so they how you take some shrimp and you thaw them shrimp and you like season them shrimp real good. You put them in some batter and then you get some grease really, really hot. You drop the shrimp in there and you take them right back out. That's how cooked the Hawks are. DeJounte Murray suspended in this game. Right? That says enough right there. So now the only defending guard you have is suspended. You know how many pick and rolls Trae Young gonna see today? He gonna be a turntable out there. Everybody gonna get a turn. You get one, you get one, you get one. He might be down low at the post with Al Horford today. That's how many pick and rolls they gonna do on that boy today. He has no protection.
DeAndre Bembry gonna be fighting for his life out there.
Oh my God! Listen. The Celtics are going to have him spinning like a top. I'm just, and then the Nuggets. If any team extends this series, I would say it's the Nuggets and the Wolves, right? Only because the Nuggets historically, when they get up, they play with their food, right? Think about it. With the Jazz, they play with their food. They won that series, but they almost played to the point where they almost lost that series. They won Mike Conley's shot away from losing that series, right? And they did come back from 3-1, but it's because they played. They were winning every game they lost. They played with that Jazz team. And then you have them against the Lakers. Yes, the Lakers won a championship that year, but the Denver had them cornered a lot of that series in the bubble.
Yeah.
In regular season, I always tell people, yes, the regular season matters to me because you are who you are when you get to the playoffs. It's certain players that rise up, like you got your Jimmy Butlers. Even, I give him credit, even Rajon Rondo, he's a different player in the playoffs because he understands the difference. But you are who you are at the end of the day. Like, we know we expect that from Jimmy, but we knew this Heat team was going to struggle because of how they played in the regular season. Now, they got gifted. The Bucks thought they could give them 2 games and still come back and win the series for some reason. Good job, Bud. But anyway, I think that the Timberwolves can steal a game, but I don't think they do tonight. And then Phoenix, I don't even want to talk about Phoenix, bro. We might as well move past that. The Clippers, they didn't even want to play. They won't win beyond apparently. I don't know what they want to do.
Boy, I haven't seen the Bud get destroyed like this since they had an ad with Dylan Mulvaney. Anywho.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I got dad jokes for days, folks. Dad jokes for days. But anywho, I totally agree. I think that all these series end tonight. I told everybody about Kawhi. I've told you all about Kawhi for years now. And I did a face mask the other night, and I hope my skin is glowing. I hope that there's a camera. Get closer. I don't have a cameraman, so I'm going to just move closer to the camera. Boy, it feels good. Life on this side of hating Kawhi is swell. It's really swell over here.
Never thought we have a self-care segment here on Facts Over Acts, but you ever did a peel with some papaya in it?
I haven't.
Do one of those, man.
I did a charcoal peel not too long ago, and I said never again, bro, because like it's like super sticky and super messy, and it got in my eyebrow. And
washing
so,
it off a pain in the ass too.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was just god awful. Ever since then, I'm like, hey man, give me the rose water. Give me the rose water. It's nice and gentle and delicate. Give me that, please and thank you. You know what I mean? Also found out that apparently like the things aren't made for lips as big as mine, because like the little hole was like. It was only covering like this much of my lip.
Also don't compensate for you having a full beard.
Yeah. They don't expect men with beards to be, my beard full too. You know what I mean? We right here. We the same guy for real, Josh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
anyway,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, fellas, we got to switch gears now because we've talked a lot of basketball. We've talked all these playoffs. But man, I got to tell you, one more thing before we get off of basketball. The Warriors seem to be coming back. It seems as if Coach of the Year, Mike Brown pack is about to be real potent. It's about to be extra loud out there in the Bay. Are the De'Aaron Fox out for Game 5 with a shooting hand injury? Are the Kings cooked?
The Kings, they are in fact cooked.
Hate it.
I'm gonna say this just because, like, shout out to the Kings. They played a hell of a series. With De'Aaron Fox, there's a strong possibility that they would be defeating the defending champions, right? Mm-hmm. The Kings, it's very rare that we see teams. The Kings haven't hit the playoffs since what, 2004?
Yeah,
something like that. It's very rare that we see a team like this. Is most people's first time on this level. And they're playing at an elite level against a team with a lot of playoff experience, which is something that we don't see from these brand new teams in the playoffs. So first of all, shout out to the Kings. But at the same time, De'Aaron Fox is the engines that wheels the Kings along. The way that they've been killing Golden State, that most teams kill Golden State, is by dribble drive penetrations, spreading out the floor, and rotating if they use, whatever size they do have to close out at the rim. Without De'Aaron Fox, is not another player on that team that you can trust with that playmaking ability that's needed to pick apart the Warriors' defense.
Okay. All right. Chris, are the Warriors cooked? Talk to me.
I mean, the Warriors not cooked, but the Kings
the Kings cooked. Yeah.
The Kings are for sure cooked. And I laugh because it's crazy that, like, it's Game 4 and we saying they cook. Like, it's crazy that who would have thought the Kings of all people, who would have thought the Kings of all people would be cooked after a couple games in a series, I mean,
it's their fault.
Like, why is Harrison Barnes shooting the ball for? Yeah. I don't care who else on the court shoot the ball. I know I would have told you sit in the corner over there, far away from me. Malik Monk, you come here. Anybody else go on the other side, you just don't touch the ball. And Harrison Barnes, and
that man been open. He open.
I just want to say something real quick, and it has nothing to do with this thing in my background. You can never trust a Tar Heel to shoot in the playoffs. It's just not a great idea. You know what I mean? Danny Green went ahead and sold LeBron those few years ago. Now we got Harrison Barnes selling the Kings. I'm just saying, don't trust guys who wore baby blue in college to put you on in the playoffs. It's a bad bet every time. Every single time. No, but seriously though, you're right. Harrison Barnes should not be shooting as many shots as he's shooting. And I'm gonna take it a step further. When Draymond was out, they needed to capitalize. They needed that win. That was not like
if they win that, the series over. They win that.
The series is over. That team was dead in the water. You know how dead in the water that team was? They were down by double digits, and Klay Thompson didn't do one of these numbers. Because y'all know that man throw up the fours more than the Charlotte chick. I am telling you right now, if Klay Thompson can't throw up a four, that team is demoralized. And they were ready to be done, and you let them off the hook. And now your star is hurt because you was playing.
Has Klay, has anybody had a bigger fall from grace than Klay when it comes to, I guess I want to say like a likable NBA player?
Was Klay ever likable?
Yes, early Warriors run, Klay was the one person on the team that people was like, Klay was the Desmond Bain of the Warriors. Like people hated the. No. I don't remember any Klay hate early in a run.
Klay was the dry humor, office type.
Yeah.
Like he was.
I think that's what made people mess with him.
I don't know. Steph was always the guy that I was like, hey, he cool, man. Like, he lame, but he cool.
See,
like,
but people call it Steph lame. Like, you know what I'm saying? People didn't hate Steph, but they thought he was lame. Klay was like the homie in that early in that run.
It's like Drake and Wayne. Like,
Draymond was always my guy. Draymond was the one that I'm like, personality-wise, I'm like, no. I like that guy. I like him.
No.
I ain't never heard of that one.
Hey, I'll accept it. I'll be in that boat by myself. I don't give a damn. I'll be in that Draymond boat all by myself. That was my guy.
You're going to drown on that boat too.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of it. Before Kevin Durant got there, that was my guy. The passion, the fire, the intensity, and he always teetered on the right side of that line of fire before KD got there. After KD was there, he turned into something different.
Draymond could be standing outside my place saying, hey, bro, I just want to shoot some hoops with you. And I'll be like, bro, I'm good, bro.
Just because you charged 70 that one time to get in the club.
Bro,
just because you charged 70. You didn't even pay the 70. That's the crap. If you paid the 70 and it wasn't jumping, I could understand your beef with Draymond. I could understand it.
Better yet, our parking lot pimped that day, too. Came back out at 2 a.m. when the bar closed and said, this is what I'm going to mingle at. I was not paying him no 50, 70, whatever he was charging. I was not paying it for a bar I go to for free. What
listen, that's always been my guy. But honestly, I never really liked Klay. I always thought that it was like fake. Like that whole like, oh, I'm just happy to be here. Like, oh,
yeah, you think so?
I always thought it was fake. And sure as manure stinks, this man has shown us all who he is, time and time again. Every time they get beat. For Klay, stop. It's getting weird.
He do got 4 rings. he do got 4 rings, man.
But is that not lame? Imagine if Brown went around doing that. Imagine if Brown went around throwing up 4s every time the Lakers was getting beat. Do you know?
It would be lame, but at the same time.
I'm going to keep it. Go ahead, guy.
No, I say it would be lame if Brian did it, but at the same time, Brian got so much other stuff to flex. What else Klay got?
It is a little lame. Every time you boot LeBron, he do one of these, though. He put the crown on his head. It is a little lame he do that. I ain't gonna lie.
But that's my point. That's my point. Like, bro, like, even the stuff you deserve can still get lame sometimes. And like, Klay, you won those rings. You did your thing, brother, but it's still lame. You know what I mean? Like, it's still just very, very nasty work. But I digress. I think we can all agree, hey, Mike Brown, congratulations on your coach of the year. You can now do this whenever you're losing. Oh, wait, no, you got 2. So you can go ahead and do one of these.
What do you got, winning 07?
Yeah, I think he won one in 07 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that Cleveland team did have about like 63 wins or something crazy like that.
You can go ahead and throw up your 2s.
Crazy thing is, I still couldn't even point out Mike Brown's system if I had to pick a system. I couldn't even point it out.
Boy, your guess is good as mine. Your guess is very much so as good as mine.
It's very reminiscent to Popovich's system, but you got to run it slightly different because you don't have Duncan in the middle.
We know Sabonis ain't
so it's a pace and space with kind of a triangle on one side, but it's more of a perimeter centric like pace and space. But they still run that 3-man triangle on one side and then do wing corner on the other.
Okay, Josh Legler. We see you, boy. We see you.
And
basketball analytics.
I gotta say this too, man. AD, if you make a Xavier Tillman look like Tim Duncan one more time, I'm gonna lose it. AD. Xavier Tillman look like he's just one of the best bigs in the league right now. That brother came off the bench because Steven Adams and Brandon Clark are both out. He's the third string. If you don't tighten up, AD, I'm gonna have a problem with you. We're gonna have to shoot ones, AD. I ain't gonna lie. We gotta shoot ones.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Chris. Get ready to put your hands up because I think that Xavier is getting ready to have another big game on AD. So go ahead and be waiting. Go ahead and be waiting outside. Hey, listen. I know it's part of your parlay, but go ahead and be waiting outside the crypto. Why is AD in? Go ahead, because it's gonna have to go.
I ain't gonna lie. He gonna have to seat me, bro. Xavier Tillman 6'8", bro. 6'8".
Hey, listen. I hear you. You ain't mad. You ain't wrong. Okay, you ain't wrong. But I'll tell you this. Many people got it wrong as far as when the deal would be finalized between the Jets and the Packers. It has finally come. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. The Jets and the Packers did basically a pick swap in the first round this year, meaning the Packers moved up from 15 to 13. Jets moved back from 13 to 15, and they get a conditional pick next year to where the second rounder, unless Aaron Rodgers plays 65% or more of the snaps, which then upgrades it to a first rounder. And I believe they got a fifth and a third, this year's fifth. Or no, they got this year's second and next year's fifth as well. Fellas, what do y'all think about this trade?
I think that it is a rental, and based on what they got him for, it's a very smart trade for the Jets. I don't think they have enough tools quite yet to win a championship, and if Aaron Rodgers is there for 1 year, then it's kind of a waste. But at the same time, it's not as if the Jets have been doing the greatest job of utilizing their draft picks. I mean, they have drafted well, spotty here and there. But believe it or not, I think it's a good deal for both sides because looking at it on the surface, you think like, the Packers kind of sold. People have paid a bigger haul for players with that caliber, at an older age. But the Packers have proven really well to know how to draft properly. So I think that first pick, along with the picks that they already have, they can do a good job at retooling and putting together a team I don't think they win the NFC North, but I think, 2-3 years from now, we looking at that Packers team again at the top of the NFC North.
Don't say that.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but at the same time, if I've been alive for 30 years and the Packers won the NFC North, 27 of them.
Listen. They have come up with some ridiculous. What are the odds that you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers? Like, what are the chances that happens? Like, you just happen to look up upon two of the guys that statistically are going to be in the top 10 of all time, back to back, right after each other. Like, what? And mind you, not only did they come behind each other, there was virtually little to no overlap for real. Because when you really look at the grand scheme of their careers. How much time did Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre spend together? What was it, 4 or 5 years? Something like that?
Yeah, I want to say 4.
Both of them played for 20. So, in essence, you got like 15 years of unadulterated Favre.
Didn't Brett Favre go to the Jets after the Packers?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Then the Vikings next, right?
Yeah.
All right, we can see Aaron Rodgers on the Vikings in 2 years.
Hey, now that team would actually be scary. That team would actually be very scary for the NFC North. But anyway,
41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Honestly, I'd be more worried about Dalvin Cook at that point because, like, he'd be pretty old. He'd be pretty whole backfield. Just got bad knees, bad hips, bad arm. But anyway, Chris, what you think about this trade, man?
For what the Jets gave up, cool. If they was a win now team, New York.
You don't think they win now?
Gibbs. When the last time the Jets did anything?
Stop playing. What? Stop it. Chris, stop it. You don't think that this team is in win now mode?
I think they're in win now mode. I don't think they win now.
Oh. So y'all saying that they like the Hawks? Y'all saying this is the Hawks of the NFL.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It ain't that bad. They got a defense, but they got.
It sounds like y'all saying they paid this price to get kicked out the playoffs in the first round. That's what it sounds like y'all saying.
They have a good defense, Keaton. They have a good defense. But what I'm saying is, what else? And then what? You know, that song and then.
Bro, they have offensive weapons. Brees Hall was looking like the best of the rookie running backs by a mile till he got hurt. And then what happened after he got hurt? An undrafted rookie by the name of Bam Knight, once again pointing at the NC State logo back here, by the name of Bam Knight, went on to break a bunch of rookie records for undrafted rookies.
Okay.
And also, Michael Carter, a UNC guy, went on to do good things for them as well in the backfield. Garrett Wilson looked amazing. What are we doing here? That offense looked good. Elijah Moore wanted the ball more, of course, but you couldn't get it to him with Zach Wilson because Zach Wilson couldn't hit the side of a Walmart from the parking lot.
I got a hot take.
Talk to me.
You ain't gonna like me, Gibbs. You gonna want to smack me when I say this.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Aaron Rodgers about to Kyrie that thing up. Aaron Rodgers about to Kyrie that thing up.
I'm not mad at that.
Aaron Rodgers about to Kyrie that thing up.
That's believable. But I'm saying if we work under the assumption that Aaron Rodgers just acts like a normal human being, which we know is hard for Aaron Rodgers. Let's be honest. We know it's hard for Aaron Rodgers to be normal. But if Aaron Rodgers acts like a semi-normal human, just goes in, plays football, goes to win a championship, I'm not saying that they can get past the Chiefs. I'm not saying that. Not saying that that's an automatic, especially given that everybody keep looking like disregarding how many good receivers are in this draft. And like, if they end up with somebody like Zay Flowers or something like that, I'm going to be crying and throwing up for the rest of the league because, I mean, all the rest of us are just competing for second at that point. But with that being said, I think that they could go deep in the playoffs, though. Like, I think at minimum, I think their floor is the divisional round if they run into the Chiefs or if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. But I think they're in a good spot. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But again, now if Aaron Rodgers blows it up, hey, I wouldn't be too surprised by that happening either. But you know, I think he can hold it together for at least a season or two.
Kyrie Rodgers.
Lord Jesus. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, I think that this is a trade in which the Packers need to look at themselves and say, like, what did we really do here? Why did we not trade him sooner to a team that was more desperate? Why? Because some people feel like, oh, well, they got the Jets into a corner and all the other quarterbacks were going and da-da-da-da. People don't realize how young the Jets are. Who would y'all say is the Jets' top two defensive players? Most people would say it's Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, I'd say Sauce.
And Quentin Williams. Most people would say it's those two.
I would probably agree with that.
Neither one of those guys are above 24, I believe. I'm fairly certain both of those guys are.
Well, Sauce definitely not. I don't know about.
Sauce definitely not. But Quentin Williams, I believe he's, I want to say he's like 23 or 24 himself. So, like, I'm looking at, he's 25. But either way, even if you waste a year, we all know that a player's prime is generally 26, 27, right?
Depending on position in football.
Huh?
Depending on position in football.
Well, yeah, depending on position. But even still, like, if you're looking at a defensive tackle and you're saying, like, when am I probably going to get the best version of him? 26, 27 is about when you're going to get, depending on his style of play. And Quentin Williams, the way that he plays football, he's explosive, he's low to the ground, and he plays with good leverage, he plays with great energy. He brings so many things that even if he lost a step, he still has a lot of other good things to make up for it. Honestly, if I was them, I would have been like, hey, I mean, we could play this waiting game, but like he gonna retire if y'all make him come back. So, and when I look at what they actually gave up, they moved back 2 spots. They gave up a second rounder this year, and they gave up
first round. They gave up first round.
They gave up no. I'm saying they moved 2 spots back. Because the Packers were 15, they were 13. So then they gave up next year's second, which could turn into a first, and the 6th rounder next year, or a 6th rounder this year as well. But they got a 5th rounder in return. Like, again, I'm looking at the Packers like, bro, what y'all on? Why did y'all not do this? Why did y'all not look at, I don't know, the Titans and say, hey, listen, y'all know that Derrick Henry ain't gonna be like that for long. Y'all know Jarrell Casey, Kevin Byard, they're not gonna be like that for long. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that y'all get the quarterback that y'all want, but y'all gonna have to pay a hefty price for him. And guess what? The Titans were liable to pay it because the Titans know Derrick Henry is not gonna be Derrick Henry in 3 years. Kevin Byard is not going to be Kevin Byard in 3 years. Jarrell Casey is not going to be Jarrell Casey in 3 years. That is not how football works. Those players will not be who they are today. So, but instead, you messed around, played around, meandered, and waited. And now, look at the deal, and I'm going to put it like this. Look at the deal that Deshaun Watson got. And you're telling me, in terms of like the trade package, and you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers he wasn't worth half of that. Even if you say Aaron Rodgers is a rental, he's a rental that can get you to the Super Bowl. Like, it's like saying, oh, they drove a rental to prom. Well, if the rental was a McLaren, who cares? Like, you won. You did what you were supposed to do. You did the thing.
I drove a rental to prom for sure.
Absolutely. And that's my point exactly. That, they got a Maserati rental or they got a Porsche rental for Honda Civic rental prices. Good for y'all, Jets. Holy fleece. I know that GM from the Packers got whooped so bad, he hit him with the Ryan Garcia. You're a good man, bro. You're a good man. That's what he had to tell him. I don't
understand the Packers. The Packers don't really got a backup plan for real. Like,
yeah. And that's why I'm looking at Guyton like, what you mean they're going to be back on top of the NFC North in 2 years, bro? Watch out. They don't.
Okay. We'll be doing this pod 2 years from now.
Hey, listen, bro, watch out. Because if this actually comes true, me and you going to have to see each other outside. we going to have to see each other outside. So,
the Lions can't stop gambling, so.
Listen. Leave Jameson Williams out of this, man. Leave Jameson Williams out of it. He ain't know no better. You know what I mean? Them Bama boys don't know no better. All them wide receivers out of Bama, they're known for making bad decisions. Thank God this was one of the minor ones. Ridley got suspended for a year. We don't even want to talk about the other guy. And now we got this one. Like, this is just, yeah.
And they did it at Ford Field. That's the craziest part, bro.
Just dumb.
Yeah, that's wild, yeah. God, at Ford Field is wild.
Why? This is my question. Why? Like, y'all are millionaires for real. Like, What do you stand to gain from this? What do you
beats me.
Anywho, it beats them too. That's why they're gonna be sitting on the sideline for the first 6 games of next season because they got beat over the head just like everybody else. But anywho, I know y'all tired of us talking about betting and parlays and who gonna be out and Aaron Rodgers. But come on back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.